Yeah, here's my first test. I'm gonna try to see if I can have this as an alternative to a head mount for my car. I'm gonna run some skip diff, some box tests, right? Yeah, because I'm fibbing, but I'm not really fibbing. I don't necessarily need to wear the. So I figured out now how to essentially get. No, I was thinking like at first, I was gonna get the really super expensive gear. Yeah, I was. I thought I was, but then I looked at it. It's like, huh. I guess Tim Pool got support from his family or from some corporation. I looked at it. It's like, huh. He has some pretty cool camera gear, an audio setup, and everything. I literally looked at that and was like, huh. That doesn't suit my budgetary proprietary needs, right? Some of these people, I'm gonna show you. Some of these people, I'm looking at some of these people. They look like they're set up more geared towards me. Like you think like at first it's gonna be PewDiePie, right? Right. Like, well, everyone starts big. Right. Everyone's like, well, you need to the art. It's funny. I'm sort of out of the arts already, and I think this is what the arts are. Now, when I think so here's the reality, right? So people don't have any idea what the fuck they want. That's why Feynman opted out, right? Right? They say go to the arts, right? Or start a YouTube channel. No one really knows what the fuck they're talking about. That's why people don't like each other. Because no one says what they mean. And then you still have, and then they also have to kiss ass to the rich people, right? And you have a system predicate. And when you have that, then how could anyone like each other, right? Because the entire system is predicated on kissing ass to the rich. That's why people don't like rent, right? Yeah, everything is. Who is the most capable, right? You would assume. That doesn't mean it's true. Anyways, so I see. So what I was thinking of using this using this gear. I want to test the box gear that I got right now and see if I can do a car drive. So if I can do a drive-through, get some tape the box to the seat maybe. I don't necessarily need to use the headband on the wheel tire, right? I'm thinking of cutting open the box. I just I don't know. Can I reveal this? Let me see. I just thought about this just now. Right. Anyways, I don't know. Can I? Okay. See if you can even move it. I don't think you can move this ball. So you see, so you see that little indent I see over there? That's a hole I cut through. So I basically used a scissor and made a hole through like one of the legs of the tripod. The tripod is stuck. I can't actually afford any super decent gear. It needs to be on a flat surface. I was like thinking about it. Meanwhile, PewDiePie, I mean, like PewDiePie, he's rich, right? Or at least richer than me. So he can afford better gear. See, the great thing about, like, if I went to school for, like, half of this shit, is that the employer automatically assumes the school knows how to make money, right? That's why I kind of wanted to go to school. They just assume, right? Oh, they went, Bill. I hate using Bill because it's funny. It's probably not funny to me anymore, but it's hilarious to me. I don't want to say Bill deserves to be reamed. It's just funny to me. I just ream a lot of people. Do I look like I care? I do not care. I do not care whatsoever. Hey, if you have some billionaire that looks like a simp, let me know in the comments below. Right. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's So Bill Gates, I don't know, is it a Harvard? He went to Harvard once, right? He did a Karen Ensign graduate speech. He just assumed, well, I partied with these people. I assume they're gonna make money for me, right? They think friendship means like revenue, right? They can, because we live in a society where they don't say what they mean. Everyone's conflating friendship with like a customer, right? That's not the case. Right? Social conformity with profit, right? That's not a real thing. My dad appears to know this pretty well. Just no one wants to talk about it, right? That's pretty, because America's not that kind of culture, right? They don't like talking about money. They always like to talk about feel good about shit. That's also why a lot of these companies aren't doing that well. A lot of these forks, because they live in they're raised in the workforce is raised in a culture where you just feel good about shit. That's not something that helps the company. The Asian mentality of like, hey, let's save money, let's get to a marriage, right? So I can get more cash later on. That's like an honest conversation. That's something that actually helps. Right? You just buy stuff to feel good. You can't have an honest conversation on money. You can't have an honest conversation with anything, right? You notice that? That's why a lot of these programmers, you notice their complaints too, right? A lot of these big tech companies, right? They never say what they mean. Well, they don't like the customer, because I'm like, and that's why like you see stuff like Periscope, they just keep degrading, right? Now I have no Periscope, right? That's what happens when you are raised in an American consumer culture. You don't know what's up or down. Because people don't care. They just slack around, right? They just do the bare minimum to get the money, but spending money is not the same as making money, right? They conflate the two. That's the kind of problem with the consumerist culture. They just think they're the same thing. It's not the same thing, dude. That's why in some of my Twitter posts, right, I'm talking about cognitive dissonance, right? Yeah, if I can find my tweets, which I don't know these days. It's kind of weird. I'm supposedly a relevant individual. There must be another way. Maybe they're calculating something else. Maybe it's downloads, right? Might be the most downloaded image. But anyways, I can't find anything on my Twitter feed sometimes. Yeah, right? Bill partied hard, right? In his days at Harvard. That means money generates money. We know that doesn't mean what that actually you think it means. See, I didn't learn how to think like Dr. I'm going to say A-hole Temple. She was unreservedly condemned. We put that in quotation marks. Until like later on, I was like, oh, that's how you start asking questions. You start being quiet. Start reflecting. It's like, okay, partying doesn't mean revenue. People just want to chill and grill. That's what you should always assume when you hire people from America. Right? Look at my TikTok. Look at my Instagram feed, right? People want to chill and grill. So you ask, okay, anyways, I gotta show who's the right YouTuber right now. This is the guy who's got the type of layout I would want, given the bare minimum, right? No, I used to think I still want anime cover art, but in terms of starting out, this is perfect, right? This guy literally, I don't know how productive he is compared to me, but I don't care. I really don't care. So what he did is he takes a collection of photos, right? He's taking a collection of photos, and what he's essentially doing is basically selecting them and figuring out which are part of his thumbnail. And like the great thing about like this video layout, I don't like PewDiePie's video layout by now. I no offense, PewDiePie, it works for you. You got like a nice girlfriend who's rich. I'm not talking about beauty right now. Like he can set up like a bunch of shit for like $1,000. I can't do that right now. I really have to think about this shit right now. I have to legitimately think about it. I can't be like, hey, an advertiser dropped me a $6 billion setup or whatever, right? I don't have those connections, so I have to think outside the box like what you see right there, right? No, I have to think about it. I have to be like Rockefeller. Rockefeller did this shit. I have to tell you the honest truth that when old deceased people don't like their current generation, they poke you, right? If you're willing to do their work. Right? There's always free ways to start any industry. Always are. And people like who are developed and with good genes, good family, they don't have to do that, right? Like, they don't have to play this asshole game. They can develop fast, right? They can milk the assumption of some other venture capital. Like, well, you just figure out what the assumption is. Like, okay, I assume, right, that if you can advertise on like WHO, right? Therefore, your company immediately makes money, right? I can't do that. I can't profit off of those false assumptions. See, the great thing about Cheddar is once you get money, you can actually start taking advantage of people's false assumptions so they can pull money towards your business. I can't do that right now. And we all have like billions of false assumptions in our lives. The thing is, they all have a Cheddar price tag. Right? So being at the top of the algorithm does not necessarily mean your video content is something the customer is looking for. It's just that you're profiting off their false assumption that being at the top means something. There's numerous ways to get to the top. I can't do those things right now. I am not in a position. This guy is smart. Very, very scalable, actually. This is actually feasible. Very doable. Now, whether he cares enough to do it more, it depends, right? He might have another job by now. This is the type of guy, he might be broke or he can find another side job. This is sustainable because he's not using Photoshop, right? He's not using, I'm going to end this soon because I got to go to the why. But why, right? So he's using photos. He's taking photographs, right? He's doing what Paul Xavier does. Xavier, by the way, just got lucky, I think. I don't think he got lucky. He more or less just didn't. He had a good side income, right? Right, so he went to nursing, right? I saw that people recommend me that for the arts. I think people are kind of dumb. They don't understand the context. I'm starting to understand how he got his cash. I'm not quite there yet, actually. He took like billions of photos, essentially. Can do photography shoots really, really fast. I can't integrate or scale that quickly quite yet. That's his secret. Repetition. It's not really necessarily his course, right? Right, he made money eventually, right? Because his family has connections. Now, they're not going to be plain about that. No one's plain about that, right? They pitied him, right? And the deal was he needs to finish nursing school, right? They're trying to give him an exit ramp. That's how it worked. He never explained it like that. But the idea was he got money as long as he finished nursing. I think that's basically the hidden contract, right? Or the hidden magic contract, as I call it. It's a magic deal. What the hell is it? Right? They're not saying anything directly. It's like signaling indirectly to the algorithm, right? That you're communicating. Yeah, so this guy, pretty good. Take a bunch of photos. Here you go. Here's a thumbnail. I might be using Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or Macromedia Flash. I put this image as the first frame, right? Yeah, I like Frank's setup. Now, I don't like PewDiePie's setup. PewDiePie's setup, I gotta like legitimately wipe my forehead, think about this. And a lot of people, Stykes also has a pretty easy one. I don't like him. But, you know, he's got a pretty good, easy film setup. PewDiePie's setup is not fantastic, ideal. That's not reality, though. Right? That's not reality. That's not going to help the corporation make money yet, unless you can profit off of someone's false assumptions of what makes money. Right? You need a profit. Once you get their false assumption, take advantage of it. You can then start spending someone else's money to do company operations, right? Yeah, and that's what you have to do. That's why I like cheddar, because there's a lot of people that still have the false assumption, oh, you go to school, that means I can hire you straight off the bat, right? You pass these tests. I can't do that anymore. It is a false assumption because you don't know necessarily if someone went to school can help you make money. There's no guarantee, and the rich guy doesn't have time. He's got billions of other things to do, right? And the billions of other things are a distraction because they're also profiting. The people in the office are already profiting off of the rich guy's false assumption that they're generating revenue, right? Because the accountant could be lying. You don't really know, right? Maybe they want to get some extra cash, right? So when you're a billionaire, you're surrounded by a sea of false assumptions that you have that are ingrained to you by your life experiences, right? You don't have time to reason from first principles. That's the whole point of using cheddar, so you can profit off of someone's false assumption. Now, it could be real, could be not, right? But that's what makes a false assumption a false. Because assumptions could be true sometimes, right? That's where the scam is, right? So I want to go to school because I don't really like doing this groundwork because I don't know if I'm getting paid, right? There's no guarantee I'm getting paid. And people will, and depending on the area you live in, right? You still have to like profit. You still have to touch someone's dial with a false assumption, right? Because maybe that's all there is. Because I can't poke a rich guy, right? I can't say, hey, here's your assumptions. Here's why they're false. I can't challenge them, right? So I can get a chance to get hired by them or their friends. Because I can't just attack their social network. I can't ping it. Because even see, this is the problem. That's why people like me can't get in, because the schools, they have connections to the rich guy's friends that basically give them those false assumptions. And if I can't have access to those vectors, how am I supposed to even get a foot in the door, right? If my business fails, right? Right? I can't do it. It's not possible, right? What if it fails? Because everyone else who's buying stuff from me has false assumptions too. No, it is. Like, people think, well, the manager can make money. What does that mean? How do you know? Does anyone know? The CEO doesn't have time to deep think that, but you have to, right? When your company's in trouble. I can because I always present alternative models. Right? That's the problem with schools. It's like, it doesn't matter whether you can, right? You're spending money when you take a test. Now, the CEO assumes, well, that means you make money. That doesn't mean you still don't have to know that. It just means it doesn't help your company make money at the moment, right? Businesses come in phases. This is my problem. I can't get there, right? I can't play the scam game because you have to, because no one's going to help you out. You have no choice, right? In order to have a market, and let's say your business fails, because it happens, it's very likely, may not take off. I still have to go play the false assumption game, right? Because I can't, because that's the only entrance way you have, right? You still have to do it. It could be false, could be true. Because the schools have social connections, I can't grab it, right? Let's say I share people's GitHubs, which I'm planning on doing, by the way. I'm sharing my GitHub, and it's got a storyboard and everything. How long is that going to take me before I generate any money? I'm flexible. I'm forced to be flexible. I can't just accept cash. I'm okay with like a pay raise, right? How long does it take before I can move out? I don't know. It's all uncertain because I'm not entering the marketplace of false assumptions. Right? The reality that the rich, where they're in their own bubble. I can't penetrate their echo chamber. Right? Everyone has their own separate little echo chamber of market ideas, right? In the free market. And you have to somehow go there. But with school gets you to that marketplace, right? With the way it is right now. What I'm doing is never going to get there. Or it could very well never get there. There's no guarantee. No, No, seriously, schools like, well, we're friends with the rich all the time, right? Oh, I'm begging you, Jeff Bezos, give me some cash. I'm begging you, Bill. They beg Bill the most, right? If you can't beg along with them, how are you going to have a fair shot, period? Especially if you're from a family of low-born, low money background. There's no fair shot. It's all up in the air. I can't pitch anything. LinkedIn, fuck that, right? I can still poke. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to get me anywhere. That's not a real medium, right? School is basically a social media medium, basically. That's the whole point of school. It's not really there to learn stuff. It's not there to make money. It's a medium for which you can coast off of other people's gold, right? That's the whole point of school these days, right? School's there to produce factory workers. That says it all, right? That doesn't necessarily mean you're getting the best factory workers. The joke is you're getting workers that don't want to play the game anymore. Right? Producers and thinkers know how to be factory workers at the right time. That's the joke, right? Being a factory worker is a form of thinking. The joke is you're a factory worker and you're flexible. Yeah, that's my complaint. If I can go to school, I can get the cash quicker because I can profit off of a false assumption. I can't do that now. And you still have to, even if you start from the ground up. But you have to produce something of more of genuine value, right? You do, because you have to prove yourself more, right? Because everyone else is like, well, he's checking up all the boxes, right? He's got an established family. He's paid $500K for a web developer. Something like that. Right? He must be more credible. I'm not taking a chance on Mr. Poor Guy, because Poor Guy just does weird shit all the time. Right? I'm going to give him an $8 job because he's throwing money at the screen. I don't necessarily know, right? You're not thinking that, but you're like, well, I think that means he makes money. He can make money for me. Yeah, I'm here. I have to produce something legitimate now because I want something to back before I play the scam game. Because you still have to. Because the rich, you don't want the rich to say, well, I don't know what I want, because then they just close their doors completely, right? I think I'm small. I don't know if those will ever get any coverage, but at least I can say I was credible. Yeah, that's just a sad world. So yeah, I like Frank's template for pictures. The stuff I don't like, let's look at. So some of these people, too much work. Mark Dice is way too much work. Too much work. Too much work. Photoshop, do some layers. This is way too much damn work for me. Given that I'm trying to make sales and trying to get views. Now, until I get some cheddar and they want me to have these clickbait thumbnails, I'll have to wait. Clickbait thumbnails is a luxury, dude. I wish I could afford this stuff. I got a podcast in the meanwhile and do some low quality thumbnails because I got to think about my priorities, right? Budget wise. 50 grand, not really much. Can't do much. Got to think about cash flow, right? The billionaires don't look at the $1 billion they have in the bank. Look at the cash flow. Right? So Jeff could be making $1 billion, but is he making like $1 million per hour all the time? That's what's important. So I'll tell you what's more valuable. So what's more valuable is a Jeff Bezos that has $0 in the bank and is making $1 billion per hour, but he's always spending it in the right direction. That's who you need to look for, right? He's confident that he can make $1 billion from another customer. That is positive cash flow. $1 million, that's arguably negative cash flow. Sure, it adds by increments, but do you really know if it's going in the right direction? You don't know. You don't know if the cash flow is going in the right direction or the wrong direction. A million's too low. It could be 50 or 100. I don't know. But if it was like 100, different story, right? Okay, you're like the bigger your cash flow is, the more you actually have spending power. That's why a cheddar, depending on the context, is pretty worthless. Right? So if you're a billionaire and you saved for 20 years, that doesn't mean you actually have money, right? I'm making an argument for this case. Because with those billion, you have to make one-time purchase and you have to make sure it sticks. Right? Because if you have a positive cash flow, right, you don't have to make sure it sticks, right? You can keep constantly spending because you know your decisions will automatically generate revenue. That's what the whole capitalist economy is built on. It's built on the exchange of goods and services with people with really high positive cash flow. You have to save money, of course, to keep that influx going, right? But the whole point is to focus purely on the influx. Yeah, bank account, people think, well, your bank account, it means no, it doesn't. Cash flow. Right? Just because you have $500K in the bank doesn't mean you can own a Lamborghini, right? Or you can just spend money because it takes a while, right? If it takes a while to get that money back, why? Now, if you got assurances that it's not going to take a while for you to get that money back, wouldn't you spend more? If that makes sense. I'm being plain about it now. So when people are thinking about spending money, right, and why they're hesitating on spending money, it's because they don't think they can get that money back the next day. That's what I mean by cash flow. So not thinking about the total necessarily. They're thinking about, hey, am I confident within the reasonable confidence range of being able to get my money back with this decision I made? That's really what it is. That's why cheddar kind of doesn't mean anything if you just look at the total amount in the bank. Right? So so let's say I have 50 grand, which I do have. And I'm scared of purchasing stuff, right? I have Apple protection plan, $99 cents, $299, right? $2.99 per month, right? I purchase a 99 cents one. Right? Let's say that, right? You want to know why I'm hesitating? I'm hesitating because it takes me months to get $1,000 back. Now, I would hesitate less if it took me a day to get $1,000 back. Everyone thinks like that. You just don't think of it in those terms. Cash flow. Why do you think some people are penny pinching, right? Let's say they're an accountant, they have 150 grand in the bank, right? Why are they? Because it took them forever to even get that money in the first place. That money is security funds. That's not meant to be used for fast, high-stakes purchases. I don't understand why Americans don't get this. That's why I'm always studying the Asian culture. Now, I think I already figured out like all the good, right? Because they're starting to become more westernized, right? They want to forget the topic of positive cash flow ever existing. They want to pretend like the total money in your bank means something. Because people are thinking about how long is it going to take for me to make my money back? Right? That's the reason you save money. You save money so you can survive longer. You don't save money because that means you're rich. It's like investing in a S&P 500 stock, right? That does not mean you're wealthy. They don't think you're wealthy. They don't think of themselves as wealthy because they can't get that money back quickly. That's the reason why they don't think of themselves as wealthy. That's why you see penny pinchers. Because they can't seriously ask, can you get 100K back easily? The answer is fuck no. Right? You're kind of a dick, but people don't want to explain that way. And well, he's rich. It's like, well, but the thing is, I can't get that money back the next day. That's what real wealth means. Being confident that you can get that money back the next day that you just spent. That's why the rich are hesitating a lot in like offering jobs. That's why there's a lot of job requirements. Because they are not confident they can actually make $1 million an hour, like Bill once said, right? That's not true. That's a ballpark estimate, which is not really an accurate reflection of reality for a billionaire, right? Some months they can make 100 mil, right? Other months, they can only make 50, right? It depends on the quarterly earning reports. They save their money to get to that billion. I hate having to talk about this because this should be like, for people with like superior genes, I hate, that sounds so awkward, but they should have figured this out by now. Right? People who are good at financial mathematics, they should have figured this out. But apparently, they're under the false notion that the total amount in their bank is what people are saying. No, it's how confident you are in making that money you just spent the next day, right? Making it all back the next day is what they're thinking of. That is what people are thinking of. Because if they can't do that, then they're going to be broke in no time, right? Right? The rate at which you make the money back is what's important. You saw that billionaire who was broke, right? He made a deal with the UFOs. I think he did anyways. He's confident he can make $1 billion back with the resources. He traded all his money for resources that generate revenue all on his own. I talked about this before. So he's technically like a quintillionaire or something, like I said, because he traded all of his cash for a very high growth, right? Penny stock volatile income growth, right? Cash flow. So he's the biggest winner. Right? It's all cash flow. That is winning the game. Now, if you just have $1 billion in the bank and you have like negative cash flow or no cash flow at all, that's called, I got to be skeptical where I need to spend my money at. Right? You hire when you feel like you have a high flux positive cash flow and you're confident that that decision of hiring someone else can add to that cash flow, right? If you're certain of that, yeah, keep hiring people. Right? It was going to dry up eventually. I kind of wanted to get in on it because I don't like staying home. I just like moving all the time. Damn, Nelly. That's why I won't have a chance if I can't get in school. At least I think so. Now, schools may be completely dried up. I'm not sure. Right? The ritual would have to all ghost the schools. And then in which case, well, the marketplace of ideas to sell to them is officially gone. Right? Now I guess they heard that they may ghost them fast. Right? Everyone has assumptions. The business partner you want, right, or employee is someone who can make money and present you a model and at the same time challenge your assumptions, right? Or at least agree with them, or at least explicitly state it out. Right? You think hiring X amount of people, warehouse workers, is going to make you money. I am presenting you a model, a couple different interpretations of that assumption. Presenting you a challenge, right? Because that's what business is at the end of the day. I mean, you pontificate in your free time too with the billionaire, right? You send emails. That's kind of the sad reality. That's what a philosopher does, right? That's the philosophizing. You do. That's what you're supposed to do as an employee. You piss them off, sure, but that's kind of what business is about. It's very tense. You poke them in your free time, right? I think this decision costs money. I think this decision, my interpretation, is cheaper, right? Makes more money, right? Sometimes maybe we need to go more expensive for insurance policies. And even if they don't agree with you, and they're annoyed, like if you do it in the office, you just poke them indirectly through social media. That's what an employee is supposed to do. So it's like, okay, well, the discussion's over, but I'm still going to poke you with memes, right? Because that helps the company make money. Because I personally believe this profit, he might, well, why don't you go start your own? And that's fine. But we still have to do that. Anyways, long story short, like this layout, do not like PewDiePie's layout. I guess it's versus T-Series again. A lot of work. Photoshop, all that. Gotta look at the right image. Yeah. This is yeah, so let's look at so here's another one. Here's another, let me go finish this, cap this off. Here's another he's streaming still. I'm trying to figure out why Periscope shut down. I don't know how he's doing it. It literally told me oh, let's go search this up now. Periscope kicked me out, right? Let's see. Maybe. It still works. This is weird. No, it's entirely, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll just take a gambit. Because Periscope seems to say it's ended, right? Maybe he still has Periscope. No! Okay, he's on locals. I might go there next. So my point is, this is yeah, I'm starting to realize, as much as I love free alternatives, it's not worth my time all the time. I don't want to fib forever, but like I said, I don't have a positive cash flow anywhere. So it's not about how much money I have in the bank, right? It's about my cash flow. $17 an hour is not the cash flow I want, right? Right? I have to play the saving Asian game. Well, let's talk about it, right? Once I move out, get 50, let's talk about it. 30, just, you can, sure, I can maybe subscribe to a couple more softwares, but I still have to play the cheap-ass game. I mean, I'm sorry, you can't, right? That's just not reality. No, seriously, you ask anyone who can do that, who can do math. There's cheaper ways to play the mass social media marketing game with me learning other skills. Right? It's not always good to shorten people. Right? You can't just ad block people forever, right? You got to advertise for these people, right? Everyone needs to make money. Everyone needs to hustle. Look, fire me away. I'm not employed by anyone. Do I look like I care? No, you can't. Look, people stop when you don't pay people stuff, right? There needs to be a transaction. Yeah, you just can't do this. So why 30? Because rent prices are pretty high over here. Apartments, $2,800. You got to deduct a lot of costs. Right? And people get advertising gear for free, right? This is not rocket science, right? I can't really do as much. This is called a legitimate conversation. It's a reality check for low-income people who don't make any money. You gotta do a lot of backdoor routes. I intend to do more, by the way. Right? They have better gear. Now, that doesn't mean they have to make more money than me or I make less. There's always free ways to run stuff. But the thing about free ways is there's always drawbacks, right? It may not be worth your time. And sometimes you can make money by spending money if you know for sure what their false assumptions are, and I know what they are. Right? And it's school. Right? The billionaire still assumes, right? Doesn't mean anything, right? There's boot camps. No, it always is, because people want an institution, right? They don't want something with no institution. Because they somehow think that makes them money. I hate shrugging my shoulders, but look, I'm here to make cheddar at the end of the day. Right? They think it does. And so if that's the case, I need to jump there, right? Because it's almost a guarantee path. Because you add my experience with doing this, I'll at least eventually boost my chances within the job tracking ATS system, right? If it fails. Right, you gotta all act like Joshua Fluke, right? This is my way of doing it. Oh no, I'm willing to go all the way, right? Every little thing counts. Right? I'm willing to throw paper airplanes with my job flyer somewhere, right? Because this isn't making money. I do not like being stuck at it as an Amazon warehouse worker. Right? I'm just going to do all sorts of acrobatic shit, right? Right? And the school thing is what allows people to get the door in the company, right? So I'm forced to perform other magic tricks, right? Yeah, schools get there and everyone's saying it. It's reality. Right? You can attend those galas where the rich host, the 19-star seats host shit. Right? I can't do that right now, right? I got no funds, no mobility, right? you have to get, you got to purchase into a legitimate scam at some point. As an insurance card in case things go south. No, it is. I mean, seriously, ask the college grad. Ask if he started a business. That's like telling a left-winger he's a libtard. Ask him to start his own business, right? Ask him what his experience is. Or find a unique way to start your own business. Those are the questions you want to start asking. Guess what? They'll be triggered. That's like killing them, right? It's like getting pelted with bullets. If a job recruiter said, hey, did you start your own business before? So you can prove that the skills you learned in school help my company make money. That most basic question is never asked. Right? It doesn't matter if it failed or not, ask. Because you are going under the false assumption that your business is still expanding based on whatever your financial spreadsheets are. Right? Ticket to the middle class, right? Ask. Guess what? They get triggered. Nope, do not. If they cannot answer that question, that interview should not proceed, period. I don't care. It has to be creative. Now, it could be I'm a Chinese acrobatic seller, right? I'm ching chang chonging selling silver spoons. It has to be something. That way they at least understand market fundamentals, right? When they come in for the interview. Did you run a charity? Did you start a club, right? Forget about everything else. Because if they can't do any of that, they're not going to save your ass, right? Forget about the difficulty of a coding problem. We can deal with that later, right? A job is a conversation anyways. Ask. Doesn't matter how easy or hard it is to set something up. Can you help me, right? Because at the end of the day, when you make everything focus on the employer, they don't really care about what you learn. Now, the problem is no one tells you how to have a conversation with that employer about this type of topic. Until you encounter someone like me who's outside the school system. Who's like, well, I got nothing to lose, I might as well talk about it. Ask. Guess what? They turn away, hoping the other next small business will be scammed by their skills. Now, if you were to honestly say, hey, I just want to coast easy, that's respectable to me. Right? And sure, it's a black mark. I don't have any experience running a company, right? So there's no guarantee I can even generate revenue even when I do the company assignments right? I went to school because I know I'm going to fail in that. It's just not my personality. Now, if they get that answer, you should refer them to another company that might be sort of expanding. Right? This is the honesty test. if they lie even on that topic, they'll probably not help your company whatsoever. I understand you have to lie on a lot of applicant questions, interview questions, but there's some questions you shouldn't lie about. Yeah, if you walk away, that's an unacceptable answer. Right? When you go to school, you should go with the understanding that it is because you cannot do the other routes, right? Right? Because if you can't make money for your employer, what's the point of hiring people? It's a real question. It's the most basic question you can ask. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen this before. I've seen it. I used to think people like to think, well, this only real estate companies can sniff this shit out. No, I'm sniffing it out, right? Because I learned from real estate people. Yeah, tech people wouldn't be able to know that. So school is a real estate scam. Now, as for whether it produces people that are of value, I'm questioning that. But that doesn't mean it does. But the thing is, that is actually one of the only legitimate paths, right? To profiting out of anything. Now, if the rich just close their doors, that's a different story. And it's on the news. Yeah, it's sad. That's why, and now if you say, well, my business failed, that's why I'm going to school, that's why I'm doing all this stuff, right? Please help me. You can respect that plea. Now, maybe you can get me better equipment. Just go. If you can honestly get someone that can honestly plea with you, right? Because you're a CEO, he's useful. Doesn't really matter if you got a C+ on computer science, right? Or a D- on quantum mechanics, right? That means you can use him, right? He's got the life skills to hustle for you. Right? Those are the thinkers you want. Now, he may struggle in school, you may still need to send him there, but like you know that by the end, right? You know for certain, by the end of that graduation, he can provide you some fiscally quantifiable value. Right? You know that. Now, compare that to a graduate who, now that's what my plan was, compare that to a graduate who hasn't started anything, hasn't faced social ostracism or social rejection like a CEO has. Do you really know? Or is he just going to complain about the customer all the time? You don't know. And that's kind of the problem. Because sometimes it's not always best to complain about the customer. And this is why you get stuff like Periscope going to shit. Right? That's why you see stuff like, because you hire people straight out of school. Right? People, I guarantee you, who've had experience running their own business, they would never make dumb mistakes like this. They'd always do customer KPI checks every time. Right? Amazon too is a product of the school system being shit, right? They just think passing coding interview questions means something, right? It turns out I have to start my own business, my own little business at eBay, not Amazon, right? Because they're arrogant fucks. They just think, oh yeah, the customer's not always right. Right? They tofu them. That doesn't help people. You know what an Amazon customer wants to do half the time? They want to start their own business too. Right? Right? What about the marketing? The marketing team probably debated about this a while back. Do they care? They can't do anything, right? Because they always bark back. Right? The sales team doesn't even want to touch them. You do need people in marketing. You do need people in computers. Yes, you do. Right? But you also need a programmer that understands, look, I am okay with a shittier Amazon website layout if you can fix your seller account. I almost guarantee you everyone is okay with that. No one cares about the new cool app you made, okay? People care if they make money at the end of the day. Sure, we'll bitch and cuss at the customer service, but does that mean anything? Yeah, you went to school and you wasted my time. Now, I want to participate in that system too. Because all people look at when they hire an applicant is everyone, including myself, looks at a pile of false assumptions. Everyone does. And the most popular false assumption is someone went out of school and those grades mean something, right? The grades without business experience, right? It means something. That's flexible. I want business experience to be flexible. I'm going to make my case, right? Right? I'm going to say YouTubing channel is starting a business. That is the case I want to make. No business experience means something. No, it doesn't. Those assignments you do doesn't mean anything. Because when you start a business, you develop a sixth sense, right? Of intuitively understanding what the company financials are the moment you step into the office from day one. You don't have that. What's the point of doing these school assignments? Right? Nothing comes into place until you have that grip, right? Then we can talk about the rest of the coursework. Okay, let's start. Do the gen eds mean anything? Once you get business experience, you can say, well, I can pick and choose which courses are super useful, right? Dude, does any of this shit mean anything? Right? Now, it's tragic, right? The employer doesn't really want you to learn. He wants you to help him make money. Your goal is to make sure what you're learning aligns, right? With what the employer wants. That's the problem with the school model now. Everyone's just concerned about cash. Now, if you can make it so learning and enriching yourself aligns with the profit motive, that's a different story. Right? I don't even know if the CEO knows what they're doing. But, something, it's a system, and they try. And the reality is, if you try a bunch of random things, you can make money. Throw a bunch of money on the screen, come from an established family. Right? An established family that made a deal with the Holy Spirit and throw a bunch of money at the screen, it works, right? If you look at all the Fortune 500 companies, they all descended from a lineage of people who made a pact with the Holy Spirit thousands of years ago. They all threw money at the screen. Is it a dick move to talk about this? Apparently it is. Even though it's the truth. Yeah, the established family helped people like Sundar get there, right? Or whoever made Google. I don't know who it is these days. You sell it, you do it, right? I don't care. I just want a UPS job right now. So I can move out. I don't really like dealing with people who don't understand the context of anything. And a lot of people are like that. Right? They just don't understand nuance. It's incredible. A lot of people are like that. And the moment you point it out, they just act more stupid. Do you want someone like that in your company? That's a lot of college grads, by the way. I worked for Amazon, I think DSE4, and Mo is one of those people, right? They just make MBA jokes about him, right? MBA people are especially suspect to that. And the one thing I like about him, he knows when to get called out. He adapts. Now, a lot of MBAs aren't like that. I don't know. This is a very... I waited too long into... odd topics. Anyways, I'm setting up stuff. I'm thinking of using Zelle. I've already figured out how to set up everything. I'm going to set up a donation page. Not a donation, but it's a donation link. Please, if you do listen to myself, I don't really see any viewership coming from my either ends at this time. Facebook is glitching on me for some reason. I don't know. We'll see what the viewership is. I do need some money so I can keep doing this regardless. So I move out. I'm taking some pretty big risk right now because I got no choice, right? So if anyone asks me to go join the military and I have a legitimate chance, unlike last time where I got rejected, please do send me a link. Yeah, we got a shitstorm. I think people should be nice to each other and let the bullshit spill over because people, what happens when you're mean to them is they just act like assholes, regardless if they were assholes in the beginning for scamming the rich money. They don't know how to be nice. That's a defect. Hey, being nice, being a simp exists for a reason. Sometimes you can get better stuff. Scott's got a pretty good thumbnail. It's a pretty good thumbnail. Got Tron convoys, governments are failing, and the public is taking over everywhere. Right. This is a pretty good thumbnail. Like the design. So a lot of people who do like a lot of these snapshot photos with these weird cues and reactions, those are the type of things I want for like a comic strip, actually. So like I could literally do a manhwa right now with these photos right here. Right? It's called a sprite sheet. Right? I literally could do this right now with the photos that this guy's made already. I can literally draw like a comic style thing. Not Dilbert. Okay, maybe Dilbert. But right? So I could. I have enough photos from this guy. Advertise for him if I wanted to. Right now I gotta consider my priorities. I'm thinking of doing a wide mass marketing campaign, maybe helps advertise for Amazon. Like right now I gotta get past Facebook. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Yeah, it's so sad. eBay, God, if you're an Amazon buyer, please set up shop on eBay before you set up with Amazon. Because their layout may be shit, but at least you can see the RO, the money flowing through you. At least you can set something up. It's not like a cussing match with not customer service. The verification team over at AWS. Right? I literally, if I was Amazon at this point, I was Jeff, I was an asshole. I'd probably just hire someone out of high school. Yep, you're done. You're the AWS team. Bye. Hi, buddy. You have a bad credit score? Hi there. My name's Jeff Bezos. You are the computer programming team now. I literally do that. It's like, well, the website layout looks like shit. Don't worry. Find out a free-to-play version. Give me some Wix design layout. Bye. I don't like saying that because that makes people pissed off. They just riot. I deserve a 6-figure job. What are you talking about? That's what I would have started. Marketing team's like, and then I would have him train up in marketing. I'd be like, hey, I can't make this. I asked a couple customers, right? They're more desperate. They're willing to talk to the customers. They're okay with a shittier design as long as this process is easier. Seller team's like, well, I see the numbers. I don't really care anymore. Well, the customer's pissed off. Well, we have a monopoly. You can give me some leeway to design a shittier API. Of course, I'm going to evolve it eventually, but we have a flexible deadline. Right? We got time. That's the whole point of using a monopoly. So you have a more flexible deadline to create the same quality, right? In a longer span of time and make money. That's the whole point of having a monopoly, right? If you're not doing that and you're just wasting time creating APIs out of nowhere, right? That you're not using your monopoly power correctly. Which was what Microsoft's doing, by the way. I don't know what's going on with OneDrive. Are things glitching on me? Reminds me of The Office. Twitter, same story. They have a monopoly somewhat, right? Right? Look at this shit. A lot of this stuff doesn't matter. You literally could, and I'll be honest, shelve this entire thing. And I'll be honest, this entire category, you literally could just get rid of this entire catalog right now. This is how bad that mistake is of having a difficult seller setup process. This is so bad that this is all a waste of time. Because all people care about when they shop at Amazon is, here's my goods, right? And can you help me set up a business? If you had gotten rid of all of this and you had set up an Amazon seller coming out, right? Just that one button, right? I'm serious right now. All the customer cares about is, give me my shit. Help me set up a business, so give me a feedback loop where I can resell my shit. That's all I fucking care about. I don't care about any of this fucking shit right here. Oh, you trust me. If you can give me a model where I can make at least 20% of my losses back, oh, hell yeah, I don't care about any of this, right? In return for all this disappearing. That's how bad the mistake is. You don't even need this shit. Fuck that. Give me a forum. That's how bad the mistake is. You literally, it's so bad that that mistake that they just gave me on my email is like worth all of this shit to spend the time they spent making. Especially the verification number one complaint. It's that fucking bad. You literally might as well not program any of this shit. If you have that problem, that's the right term. People don't care about this stuff. You want to know how to get people to spend more? Improve the success rate of the Amazon business. You don't need this fucking shit at all. It looks cool, but you don't need half the shit. You're a monopoly already. You ever wonder why Microsoft's still the top power, even though their OS sucks, right? Linux and Ubuntu beats them all the fucking time, right? It's because everyone's too lazy, right? You don't need this. You don't need any of this shit. You don't need half of these recommendations. You just need to say, hey, look, Amazon seller, become a business. We'll try to get, we have a 90% guarantee of give you like 20 to 80% of your losses back, right? Right, make profit, right? So you can have 20% loss, right? There's your seller experience. Now you can go sell to a company. Just get a little red market. There you go, Amazon stocks 5,000. Huh, customer pretends, right? That's a beautiful website layout. And if the guy questions, well, that looks ugly, a programmer, right, out of job, just says, fuck you, I'm making money back for my business. Or it's like, oh, get the hint, right? I don't care about this. I don't care. Now, of course, you need discounts. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't have discounts every day, that's a waste of time. And the joke is, if you can successfully set up a business where you can recuperate some 80% of those losses, that is the discount. You don't need like quantity discount tag. Bye. Down the trash bin, right? And the reason why you're wasting time designing this is because you're hiring people from the school system. Right? And they've never, and now I do not want people doing that. That's a terrible world. That's a terrifying world to live in, where the CEO actually is that kind of loan shark guy, right? Asian loan shark. Right? I'm the white tiger. I'm the eye of the tiger, right? I got you. Right? I got you. I'm gonna stab you now. Because that's how Asians run their business. Now the American guy is supposed to be the nicer billionaire who's okay with more losses than the Asian one. Right? Or the eye of the storm. Yeah, the customer cares about recuperating their losses. That's all I care about. And if you can get me a 20% profit reselling it, perfect. You just need a marketing team. I'm sure they know how to play this game. Yeah, and if you want to hire more programmers, go for it, right? You just start with one. I almost guarantee it's like, oh, I don't know. Can I get 90-hour OT? Oh, I'll train you from the ground. Because that's what the marketing team thinks half the time. Why not? Now they're always told down by more experienced college graduates. No, you can't do that. Now, sales teams like they're smart. Like, well, not anymore. If they did that setup, just be like a top 1% of people, intelligence-wise, they can go back to the days of yelling at each other. I don't need this new KPI. I don't need this new API. Fuck you, right? That's the business working, sadly. Well, now you know what the programmer wants. He just wants more overtime. It does get to that stage, by the way. Because you know most of the infrastructure you need gets developed. Yeah, this is sad. Business Prime's pretty useful, but I'm hoping their system goes more to a Crunchyroll, right? Right, that's something the marketing team can figure out, right? Right, give me a Crunchyroll package along with the movie package, a wide package, right, along with delivery, and that's really that's your business. Now, as for the Amazon workers, I don't know how many you actually need. That's debatable, but that's the stuff that actually makes money. You can just shelve this website. I'm serious. Now, if you can prove, you need the data, of course. Present data charts like, hey, you can make this many sales, right? Post that on Twitter. People are like, huh, suddenly I'm an Amazon customer all of a sudden. They look at their cheddar, right? Like, huh, that design, I don't know if I care. All right, anyways, yeah, long topic. I will leave and be a mature guy.